Welcome to the I'm a Busy Guy show. My name is Vince LoCascio, and I'm a busy guy. If you want to find out any information about the show, go to busyguy.co. Today, my guest is another busy guy, Lenny Capp. Lenny, welcome to the show.
My pleasure, Vince.
A Chicagoland legendary entertainer you are.
So they say.
Yeah. How many years have you been playing in the entertainment business?
Over 50.
Really? Let's go to your history a little bit. You were born in the Italian section of Chinatown?
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. That's why we're here, right? To ask you a question.
Yes.
What does that mean, the Italian section of Chinatown?
Well, it was basically all Italian. There was only 2 blocks that Chinese people had. And from 23rd Street way down to Sox Park, U.S. Cellular Park, was all Italian. You had a few Mexican people, Irish, some German, but basically all Italian. My father had a successful grocery business on 25th and Wentworth, and he did very, very well. And that's the neighborhood I came from.
And knowing you, I'd like to consider you a friend, and I'm sure you feel like that, but you're very proud of being Italian.
Yes, I am.
And you're a Sicilian?
Sicilian. My family.
Obviously, entertainment has been your livelihood, your passion, all that. But what inspired you at such? Because I know you started almost like at 9 years old. Inspired you to be?
Well, the love for music and different entertainers, the MGM musicals, of course. You know, just watching them, just inspired me as much.
Yeah.
Just that did it.
Did you have anyone that encouraged you or a mentor?
Well, my older brother, really encouraged me, and he took me for my singing lessons, my piano lessons, and he was really the one that took me by the hand. And
was he a musician as well?
he sang a little bit. He played sax, but he was just a little too shy to pursue it.
Yeah. And you started, what, at 9 years old?
9 years old I started singing.
How'd that come about? Just kind of like...
Just love to do it, that's all. Love to be in front of people and sing.
And tell me about the first place. You won first place at the Morrisby Sax Amateur Hour. That was on the radio or on TV?
That was on radio. Didn't have TV then.
And what did you do for it? I mean, how did you go?
Well, you audition for these, and then eventually they select you. I was on the show, won first prize.
Do you remember what you sang?
The song was I Don't Know Enough About You. I have the recording.
Really?
Yes. Because at that time, out there, our studio would record it and send it to your home, and then you'd have copies. I still have that recording.
And what was the? We have a picture here of you singing with Miss America, or?
Well, that was an amateur show at Goldblatt's. I won first prize, and the girl that's beside me won second prize. So Miss America was there at that time, and she was signing autographs. So we were at that desk, and we took a picture. They took a picture of us.
So now what? Now you're winning a couple of amateur shows, and then you decide to take lessons? Voice lessons first?
Voice lessons at 11 years old and 12. And
where'd you take those? Do you remember?
Well, it was a studio. I think it was Russell Studio. It's been so long ago. Downtown. My singing teacher was Amar. Oh, I can't even think of his name now.
Okay, but then what? Piano lessons as well?
Yes, he taught me my diction and my phrasing. Then later on, I took some piano lessons.
And you had a piano at home, obviously?
Yes.
Yeah. That came first, or you went and you decided?
No, piano lessons came secondly.
Okay, so now you're 14 and you start singing with local big bands.
Yeah.
When you say big bands, that's like the full orchestra?
7, 8, 10 men. And somehow he heard me singing, and even though as young as I was, he wanted me to sing with his band.
Who's he?
Well, he was not really well known, a local big band, Al Peters. Al Peters was his name.
Say his name.
Yeah.
And then tell us the story about, for people that don't know, there was a group called the Harmonicettes.
Yeah.
Tell us that little story there.
Well, when I was about 11 or 12, I used to go downtown and backstage and take pictures of all the celebrities. And I took a picture of them. The following week, they were still appearing there, and I brought the picture to them. And they were so happy to see it because it was a nice picture that I took. And they took me for a hamburger. And then the next time they came into town, they appeared at the Chicago Theater. And I showed up again, and they took a liking to me. So
they all had harmonicas. Some were this big.
Oh yeah, yeah. Their big hit was "Peg of My Heart," and so I said, I sing. So they heard me sing, and he liked the way I sang, and I was only about 12 years old then. And they even arranged a recording session for me to do 2 sides with them. But at that time, when we were in the studio, my voice cracked.
Puberty hit.
So they didn't want to take a chance. They figured, well, gee, if we
record and then go on the road.
And it becomes a hit, then what happens? So they didn't want to take a chance, so that was scratched.
Well, what happened to Wayne Newton? It never hit for him? He just kept
He kept going.
And had you not gone into, it's such a gift that you can do your passion and make a living at it. But you tried other things? You were a barber?
Yeah, I was a barber, and I tried that. And I did that for a few years, but it wasn't my thing. And I sold insurance, and that wasn't my thing. My thing was getting out there to play and entertain people. That was my love.
Yeah. And
that's what I wanted to do. So I did that until bigger and better clubs came along.
And I know you said that your brother was your, encouraged and all, but you never had a manager. You were your own manager. That's amazing.
I was fortunate enough to work at different clubs, and when I finished at one club, I always got a call from another club. So it just fell in that way.
So in those years, you've seen a lot of things go by.
Yes, I did.
Things that happen in the entertainment industry,
yes.
or in the restaurant industry, in the bar industry. So now you're 21 years old. Now you start playing. Now you're old enough to play in bars and so on.
Yes.
How'd you like that?
I loved it. And from one club to another.
Okay, so now you're playing at Lounge. I forget the name of the place, but you told me where Marty Fay, who was a TV and radio personality.
Well, it was a club on the north side called the La Petite, and it was an Italian restaurant. He stopped in there. He liked the group so much that he wanted us to appear on his TV talk show. And so he actually gave me my name because...
Well, tell us what your real name is what?
Leonard Coppolino.
Coppolino.
Lenny Coppolino. But a lot of... the neighborhood always called me Cappy. So I had called the group Cappy's Combo. So he didn't really care for that, and he asked me about my real name. So he said, why don't we call you Lenny Capp? So he gave me my name. And that was it.
So then what, you appeared on his show?
We appeared on his show for 10 weeks. And from that point on, it just, one club after another.
And that was a local Chicago show?
Yes.
Yeah. We talked about, I wonder if those shows are out there somewhere. You said you had the audio of the show? Yes,
I do. They're on tape.
Because somewhere out there, I know that museum, the Chicago Museum of Broadcast, there's a good chance they have it.
They might.
So now what? Now you're a big star, big TV star, and then Rush Street starts in its heyday in the 70s and 80s.
Yes.
What places were you playing down there?
Well, there was a club called the Four Torches. It wasn't exactly on Rush Street, but it was one of the hottest clubs around. Also a club where many celebrities, many stars frequent.
Such as?
Such as Bob Hope, Elkie Summer, Martha Raye, anyone that was Vic Damone. There were so many big stars, and of course, that was the place that Sinatra loved to go to. That was his room.
Were you playing by yourself or the trio?
No, I always had the trio. And there was one particular night when he had his party, the room closed, and he was in the back room with his entourage. And the owner said, could you play a little longer? Frank really enjoys the music. I said, sure, fine. I really didn't even pay attention because they were back there and I just doing my thing. And the thing that really floored me was that while I was playing, there was a table just very close to the piano. He left his party and sat there and just looked at me playing and singing.
You had to think you were dreaming.
Oh, I mean, I says, oh boy. And when I turned around, I says, you're really going to make me nervous now. He said, just keep playing. Just keep singing. Well, as I was singing and playing, and finally his entourage just joined him. So I had a whole audience that night just listening.
Unbelievable. You had to be, I mean, as a kid, he said coming from Chinatown, the next thing you know, you're sitting there, Sinatra sitting there watching you play.
I even asked him, what would you like, what is your favorite song? What would you like me to sing? And of all songs, he requested Laura. I sang it.
Nice.
So, but then the following year, he came into town, and I saw him again. And then he came into town a year after that, because he used to come in every year. And it was always in May. For some reason, that month he was always in town. So I happened to be sitting home that night, and I got a call from the room I was working. And he said, Frank is having a party at the Ambassador East that he would like you to play.
Wow.
I says, are you kidding me? He says, no, really. So we got there about 10:30. He was appearing at the stadium at that time.
The old Chicago Stadium.
Yeah, the old Chicago Stadium, United Center. So we got there, went up to the penthouse, and I didn't expect to see him because I figured he was performing yet. We got there at 10:30. Sure enough, security let us in there. I knocked at the door, and who answers? Frank Sinatra.
Wow.
He answered the door. So anyway, we walked in. I said, "Where's the entertainment?" He said, "All right, guys, just set up." He said, "Where do you want the piano?" He actually moved the piano. He moved it over there for me. And I said, "You don't have to do that, Frank." He said, "No. What are you drinking? What are you drinking? I'll get you a drink."
What a host.
Yeah. So I told him. He says, "Good drink." So we drank there. And the party lasted till about 5 o'clock in the morning. Everyone left. And the thing that really, at the end of the night, my bass player had a camera. And we took a picture. Sinatra was in the center. I was on one side. My bass player was on the other side. Because he didn't want drums. He just wanted piano and bass. So he took the picture. So he kissed me on both cheeks, and we left that night. And I told the bass player, I says, "Whatever you do," I says, "give me a copy of that picture because I want to blow it up." So the following week, we went to work. I says, "Did you get the pictures developed?" He says, "You know,
There was no film?
No. He says, "I fell asleep. I left the camera on the nightstand, and my 3-year-old son opened the camera and pulled the film out."
You're kidding.
So that was the end of that. So later on, a friend of mine happened to write to Sinatra, and he says, "Do you remember Lenny Capp? He performed at the Four Torches, and you used to see him all the time. And he took a picture of you, but it was destroyed or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he'd like to have a picture." So he did send me a picture.
Signed.
And he signed it.
Well, now with Photoshop and all that, maybe we could do a picture and put one in there.
Yeah.
Put you standing next to Sinatra. Nobody will know the
sure.
difference.
Sure.
At least the story is true, right?
Yeah, right.
Phenomenal. And then along the way, I'm sure you've met many other stars. I know Frankie Avalon, we have a picture
Frankie
of.
Avalon, yeah. A real sweet guy. A real nice guy. And, that particular night, the club was closing. And he stayed. They had a special party for him because he was appearing in a
Frankie
a
Avalon
play.
we're talking about now.
Frankie Avalon was appearing in a play at the Rosemont Theater, Grease. So I says, Frank, I said, why don't you come in and sing a couple songs with us? So we got up there, and we both sang for about an hour together.
Well, it seems like I think part of obviously the reason why these people like you is because your talent, but you don't get overwhelmed by them. You know, it sounds like you know, like when you were playing for Sinatra, like you were playing for anybody. You were nice and relaxed. Pretty cool. Who else comes to mind that you've met and played for? Red Buttons, I know.
Red Buttons, yes. He was in the room where I worked. And I did get some nice compliments from them. And that was enough for me.
Martha Ray.
Martha Ray. She used to come in and sing with us all the time.
Nice. So now besides, you know, I know we kind of rushed past Rush Street, but those days, you know, those days will never happen again. I mean,
no.
What do you remember? What stands out in your mind about?
Well, Rush Street had so many piano bars. You can go from one to another, and entertainment and trios. In the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and part of the 80s. I think it all changed in the 90s.
Yeah.
That all, and Rush Street kind of died. Now it's back, it's alive again, but it's not the same.
Well, it's kind of like more, it's all in one, you know, one section, but it's like you said, it is, not that you should be drinking and driving anyways, but you didn't need a car to,
No.
You could go the length of Rush Street and, you know, stop in 20 different places.
Yes.
So now besides Rush Street, you know, you do weddings and private parties as well?
When I'm available, of course, you know, I'm tied up so much in clubs. I'm working 4 or 5 nights a week, so I'm never available on Friday or Saturday. But I do some private parties.
Where are you playing now?
Sunday. I'm at Gibson's in Rosemont.
In Rosemont. And you've been there
and
for a
I've been
while.
there 11 years.
Really?
It's been a successful engagement.
Nice. And where else?
Well, I do Gale Street Inn on Monday nights. And now I'm working at the new casino, the Frog Bar.
The Rivers Casino.
Rivers Casino.
At Hugo's.
Hugo's Frog Bar.
How do you like that?
I like that very much.
Is it a totally different environment? Right?
Yes.
Have you ever played casinos before?
No.
What about a little blast from the past? You had a long run at Gianotti's?
Yes. That was a good 5-year run.
At all of his places? I mean, because I know the...
No, only the one on Lawrence and Cumberland.
Oh, really? I thought that you had played, you know, other locations that he had over the years. And then what about your CDs?
I have 2 CDs out.
Yeah. You,
They're not real current CDs, but they're available. That's one of the current ones. That was about 3 years ago. And there's a lot of good selections in that CD.
And if somebody wants to find out, where do they find that?
Well, I always have them available with me in the clubs I work. So
you know, I got a little beef, though, about this one. It says it's called On the South Side of Chicago.
Yeah.
This picture looks like it's maybe from, you know, Belmont and Ashland or somewhere. You know, I purchased one, so I just want to see, maybe after the show I could talk to you about returning it because it's you know, false advertising.
Okay.
What over the years do you see as changes? One of them you mentioned already. There's not many places that you could see live entertainment anymore.
No. But even though there's been a big change in the music business, there's still a lot of people that like what I do.
They love what you do.
And even young people. I mean, if it, of course, it's always where play Sinatra.
Yeah.
You know. So, of course, he's recorded about 400 tunes, but there's always the favorites that they always want to hear. As long as it's Sinatra. Well, of course, Summer Wind, Fly Me to the Moon, My Way, tunes like that. And they're familiar with some of the other tunes that he has done, you know. But that's the way it is right now, and a lot of people still want to hear that.
Yeah.
It'll never die.
I hope not. I mean, you're a living legacy to all of that. What about the changes that you see that have gone on in the entertainment industry, like such as with technology, like drum machines and synthesizers?
Yeah, I don't use them. I mean, there's singers and entertainers that do use them, and they do a good job with using them. I give them a lot of credit. But I'm still the old-fashioned with the acoustical piano, the upright bass, the drums. And that's the way I like doing it.
And you give a plug. Who's your current drummer right now?
Rick Montana. My bass player is Ross Lallam. And a lot of the musicians that I've worked with through the years have inspired me. I mean, I've had bass players that have worked. Eddie Calhoun worked with Earl Gardner for 11 years and worked with me for 4 years. L.D. Young was with Ramsey Lewis and had his own group. He worked with me for about 3 years. And I've had a lot of top good bass players work with me and drummers.
Yeah. Well, I see that you're very respectful of other musicians. There's a lot of people out there, and it's it's accepted, it's great, and they sing with recorded music.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll never do that. I mean, you're a great piano player as well. I mean,
I'm not comfortable doing it. You know, at times my wife and I might be at a party or something like that, and there's karaoke up there. They call it karaoke, but it's tracks.
Yeah.
And I've sung with them, but I'm not really comfortable doing it. I'm more comfortable being behind that piano.
It's your time off. I mean, when you're at a party, you're there to have a party, yeah?
Yeah.
I know I asked before, but what advice you have for young kids that wanted to get into the business like you?
Well, to do it from the heart and really do it because they love doing it and they want to do it, and they'll succeed no matter what they do, no matter what profession they want to get into. You know, do it because you want to and you love it.
You sing in Italian at all? You know a lot of
I do a
songs in
few
Italian?
tunes. I do a few.
You been to Italy?
Yes, I have. Sicily, my wife and I, about a few years ago, and loved it. We'll go back there again.
Yeah.
Sicily is beautiful.
It is. Were you able to, I don't know, do you have cousins there? Did you research it?
No, I have no more relatives there. They all moved here.
You ever play on ships, on
No,
cruises?
I never have. You know, I've been so successful here working in clubs, and all my work is here, that I just didn't feel like I wanted to. Even travel, I never felt like I wanted to. I made my living here, and I want to stay here. This is my town.
It's your kind of town.
It's my kind of town, Chicago.
Chicago. Anything else you want to share about over the years? Any stories that stand on your mind? I'm sure you saw your share of bar fights.
Yes. But we won't talk about that.
And what do? You just keep playing, right?
Yes. That's the whole idea. Even though everything's coming my way, flying my way.
How do you handle people asking you if they can get up and sing? Everybody's got their, this is my friend, he's a professional singer. Next thing you know, you give him the mic and...
Well, I say, ask the management.
Yeah.
And see, they usually don't allow it, but just ask the management.
That kind of takes the heat off of you.
That's right.
Yeah. I was going to say, I mean, you've been doing it a long, long time, 50 years.
Yeah, a long time. And I loved every minute of it. I never tire of it, believe me. I mean, I have to get dressed and everything else at night, and I'm saying, oh, gee, look at that snow, and look at that bad weather and the rain. But once I get in that car...
Well, people that see you, I mean, when you watch your show, you can see that you're having fun.
Yes.
Because you're not just sit there entertaining. It's in between the sets, and when you're talking to people, you've got a great following. I'm sure there's people that, if you've been playing 50 years, I know you've told me that there's some people that have been following you, the whole time.
Well, even it sometimes still surprises me when my wife and I go to a restaurant and we start talking, and they'll come, how do you like your meal? And then, oh yeah, it's very good, and we really enjoyed it. And my wife will say, well, my husband's an entertainer. I never mention it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what do you do? Oh, my name is Lenny Capp. Oh, Lenny Capp. Oh, I know you. Yeah. So I mean, it's a nice feeling.
Oh, I bet. I mean, you are a legend. I worked for another restaurant, and I remember going out trying to find entertainers, and I went to Giannotti's to see you, and when I was going, somebody was like, Lenny Capp, you can't get Lenny Capp. You know how long it took me to get you on the show? So thanks for finally being here. I know you are a busy guy.
Thank you for asking me.
You got your schedule.
Thank you for asking me.
So let me...
it's been a pleasure.
Let me give you some cannolis for being on the show.
Wow.
So
How
enjoy
about
it.
that?
There's Lenny Capp CD. And thanks again for being on the show, my friend.
All right. Thank you so
Yo.
much.
There's a guy named Larry here to see you.
Oh, I forgot this guy's coming.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
you know what? Just finish up the show yourself, and I'll see you when I see it.
You want me to do a soft shoe or something?
Well, tell a joke or something. I don't know.
Tell a joke. All right.
Ciao,
Okay.
Lenny.
Thank you very much. Oh, all right. Okay. I'll just sit here and relax. Maybe I'll open up one of these cannolis and eat it. Let me see. What do we got here? Okay. Wow. Well, enjoy these.
We're fighters, Italians are fighters, and we have passion, and we take great pride in our work. I truly believe that if I weren't Italian and I didn't have my parents, who are the ultimate Italians, as role models, I really don't believe I would ever have reached my goal. I'm an Italian American, and I am so proud of it.
The Italian American heritage. Live it, love it, celebrate it.
We were forced to get along, It wasn't about culturally where we were from. It was more about having honesty.
The Italian American heritage. Live it, love it, celebrate it.